Hey everybody, welcome to episode 9 of the Overwatch Coach. It's been a few days, about 5 to be exact, since I made a last video. Um, was trying to grind out some loot boxes during the last event. I'm happy to report I got everything that I wanted between the two accounts. Um, so yeah, I hope everybody else's grind for loot boxes went well, and I hope you guys got the skins and the dance emotes and so forth that you guys wanted. I was doing a mad rush last minute grind on my Smurf account to get the May skin and the Torbjorn dance. Um, I'm trying to be a May and a Torbjorn main on my Smurf account to see how high up I can get with those. Just playing mostly those two characters. I got a little bit of McCree and Hanzo time on there too, but mostly Torb and May. So, last minute grind for that kept me kind of busy. Now I'm a little burnt out, so I figured today would be a good day to do a coaching video. So today we got Mercy, a gold 2335 Mercy. And there's something a little unique about this video from the other videos that I've done. This is a Xbox game. I haven't played this game ever on the console. I don't expect it to be overly different. I guess the only thing I'm really expecting is the mechanics and the aim maybe to be a little bit off in general with an Xbox controller as opposed to a keyboard and mouse. But considering we're reviewing a Mercy, we're probably not going to see any of that in the direct play. We'll probably just witness it while watching through the eyes of our Mercy. So this is on HollyWood. I'm not sure if I've reviewed a HollyWood game or a HollyWood map game before yet. So that's pretty cool. And this one's actually looking like it's got a couple groups. There's a 5-man group against a 6-man group, so that'll be interesting. So if anybody wants to submit a video for review, all the instructions have been on the screen here for the last about minute and a half. I don't want to eat up any more time just blabbing away. I want to get into the game. So let's get into the game.
Prepare to attack.
And I forgot to put my headphones in, so there might be just a slight echo right now as I unravel my headphones here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to stop it here and assume this is the comp that they go with. So I want to point out something that has to do with grouping up with buddies. And this here is going to be a good example. We've got a 5-man group. And first of all, that's awesome that you got 4 other friends to play this game with. You guys really should find a 6 because it puts you at a disadvantage. You're going up against a 6-man stack, meaning everybody's on the same page, or hopefully they're on the same page. Maybe they're practicing, I don't know. But here you got 5, and then you're just hoping the 6 won't troll, hoping they'll be on the same page, hoping they can fill a role that you guys are leaving behind. It puts you guys at a little bit of a disadvantage. Season 1, 2, well actually no, season 2, 3, and maybe the beginning of 4, I can't remember back that far, but for sure 2 and 3, I was really heavy into grouping with people like through Discord and stuff like that, and I'd always avoid the 5-man groups, and this was the main reason, being put at a disadvantage. But let's go into the team composition here. So we're attacking, and so it looks like we're kind of like on a half dive and a half kind of traditional comp, which leaves me a little concerned. I'm not exactly sure how this will work out, but this is what I don't like about the comp. So these 2 heroes here are perfect for a dive comp. To properly heal and keep these 2 heroes effective, you need either a Zen or a Lucio, and we've got neither. We only have you as Mercy. Now the Mercy is good for these 3 heroes. So what I'd be looking for really here, I think I'd be looking for the May to go either Zen or Lucio, because if we lose McCree, we lose hit scan, and if they run a Pharaoh, we're in trouble. And if you don't really want to Winston solo heal, so we're really looking to keep the Roadhog. Plus, at this point in time, Roadhog's still pretty overpowered. So I'd say May right now is kind of the weaker link for team composition here. Let's see if anybody switches or if this is what we end up going with.
I'll be
Looks like this is what we're going to be going with. I'm going to just skip ahead just a little bit here.
I require healing.
And skip ahead enough.
Commences in 5, 4.
Okay, now we have a Reinhardt, so I'm guessing we gave up the Winston for the Rhine. Yep. And that's okay. At this point, you guys are going traditional. The only thing now I'd be concerned about is keeping the Genji alive, because I'm betting you're going to hear a lot of I need healing from the Genji. So you're kind of leaving the Reinhardt. This is a lot to ask of a Mercy, to be solo healing all these people on your own. The only time I ever really like solo healing Mercy is if you're running a Symmetra, and on this map it would be on defense, not on offense. Although I have made an attack Symmetra work on this map, but it's not the easiest map to make it work, but it has potential. Well, that's for another coaching video. So really here, there's really not a whole lot you can do. I mean, you're really just trying to balance keeping everybody alive, and the team's kind of not staying together. It feels like the team's kind of getting impatient that you're not moving in as fast as... That's unfortunate. Your Reinhardt should have kept up his shield there to block that. There's one thing, if anything, to keep in mind, and that's if you're a Reinhardt, you have to know when the other Reinhardt has his ult, and you have to counter his ult. You're the only counter to it. He didn't do that. You should be healing that. What is that, a junk? We have a Junkrat now. That's interesting. Did we give that up for... Who did we give up for that? We still have Gent. I'm not sure who we gave up for that. So at this point, what I would advise people to do is try to take the high ground. Make an immediate left, go up top, take the high ground. Because if you're up... Oh boy. So, alright. Let me just rein in my point here. I need my drawing tool. Here we go. So if you guys go up around here, go up the stairs, and come up here, this kind of negates some of you being a Mercy solo heal, because right now you guys are taking on too much damage considering you have the Reinhardt, and you're not able to keep everybody up and running, basically, because everybody's retreating back, waiting for their turn to get healed from you. And you're not able to keep up, and it's not necessarily your ability to keep up with them. It's basically just the Mercy staff can only heal so much at a time. So if you take the high ground, you negate a lot of the damage that you guys are going to be able to receive. You know, the Roadhog can rain his hook down, hopefully get a pick. You got a McCree, he's perfect for the high ground. You got a Junkrat, he's perfect for raining down bombs. And then the Reinhardt just shields if anybody tries to take the other high ground back over on this direction, the patio area. So right now, your team as a whole, positioning's a big issue here. Now, you have res. And there's a bunch of people that are getting frozen in the blizzard. So hopefully you don't get picked in all this, and you should have a nice res to be able to push through. You're playing a little aggressive for hiding. You should play a little further back, but the other team didn't really punish you for that. The Mei should have punished you for that. Yeah, your Reinhardt's in trouble. He's down. And at this point, you and the Junkrat need to retreat. You guys are way overextended given the circumstances of what's going on. Now the majority of your team's back. We have a soldier now instead of a McCree, I think. Which, I mean, that in itself is fine, but we still need another healer. The biggest problem right now is just the team composition, and that's the biggest problem. The second biggest is the positioning. Like, you weren't around to keep the Reinhardt alive. Oh wait, no, that was the enemy Reinhardt. My bad. Okay, this might be a good time to res that Genji because they just res. Okay, see now if you resed. Okay, now I would have resed right here, so what I'm about to tell you wouldn't necessarily apply to what I personally would have done, but because you held on to it, right here, you know you're in trouble, or you should know you're in trouble. There's nowhere for you to fly to, nowhere for you to go. If you res that person right now, you're going to survive that diva bomb. However, now there's two sides to this. However, if you res that diva bomb right here and you survive it, it's only going to be you and the Genji, I think, unless people are able to escape. Like, this Junkrat might be able to escape this. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so it was only you and Junkrat. So, alright, had you have resed, at the second point I was telling you to res that, you'd have Soldier, you'd have Reinhardt, you'd have Genji somewhere over here, and they'd have you. That puts it at a 4 versus, I don't know what they're at. But that might give you guys a chance to actually take this point. At this point, though, we're going to have to regroup. Like, right now, you're leading the charge. Hopefully, you kind of turn around and wait a bit. Okay, that's good that you did that. This is really unfortunate. And not much you can do to that. You're not healing people, though. Oh, there you go. You're a little slow to react on the heals at times. But, yeah, at this point, you didn't have anybody to be able to even get on point. So, your guys' lack of ability to take that point fell a little bit on you. I hate to say it. Had you have res that Genji, you guys would have at least stood a chance. I'm a little surprised the Junkrat wasn't able to get over to safety somewhere over there. I kind of thought he'd be able to do that. That might have been slow reaction time on his point, or on his part. But you would have been able to survive that Diva Bomb by resing the Genji. And this kind of goes to a point I like to make about Mercies and when to res. You know, a lot of times people playing Mercy, they look for those big 3, 4, and 5-man reses. And while those can be great, and while those can win rounds, and of course they get you the play of the game and everybody praises you afterwards, waiting for those type of reses, a lot of times can be negatively reinforced. And this is a perfect example of waiting to res way too long, and it killed you because of it. Sometimes a one-man res can be what turns the tide in a battle, and it would have at least given you... I'm not saying that res would have won you that battle, but it would have given you guys a lot more of a chance because you had Soldier, you had Reinhardt, you would have had a Genji, and it would have been you. So when the Diva Bomb blew up, it took out the Junkrat. That was inevitable, apparently. I feel like it shouldn't have been, but apparently it was. But the Reinhardt would have had you to keep him going. The Soldier would have had you to keep him going. And then you would have had a Genji floating around. And who knows if the Genji maybe had his ult. We weren't getting the tab screen up to see if that's true or not. Which brings me to another point. Make sure, well, I don't know what it is on the Xbox, but on the keyboard of a computer, when you hold a tab, you get the screen where it shows all your statistics for like your healing and your team compositions and who's got what for ults. You should be looking at that more. That way you can try to call out who can combo ults and that sort of a thing. More shot calling. I didn't hear this team communicating at all. I don't know if that's an Xbox recording thing or if it's just you guys aren't talking. That's a problem in its own right too. But to go back to what I was originally talking about, had you have made that res, it would have given you guys a lot more of a chance to take that point. And even if you guys aren't winning the battle, but if you're at least sustaining, that gives the Junkrat time to return. It would have given the Roadhog time to return, because who knows where the Roadhog was during all of that. He might have been maybe halfway on his way back, or maybe coming out of spawn or something. So the point I'm making is your awareness for when to res. Don't just wait for the 3, 4, and 5-man reses. Keep in mind what the time on the clock was, because you knew you were pretty low. Had May not have used her ult, you guys probably would have had a chance to maybe try to contest the point to keep it going in overtime. But this goes back to game and situational awareness. We haven't seen May ult since the beginning of the round, and you should know that May gets her ult very fast. So the point I'm making is your game awareness and knowing when to properly res cost you that round. And it's putting you guys in a really tough spot now on defense, because you guys really have to hold. You basically have to keep a guy on that at all times, because I think they only have to get one tick. So what do you guys run knowing that? Let's see what this other guy decides to go. Let's skip ahead just a little. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, we're going to stop it here right at 1. All right, I hate this team composition. I hate it unequivocally. It's the biggest word I know how to use to say I hate this. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. There's a lot of different ideas going on here, and none of them mesh with each other. So let's start with... I don't even know where to start. This is such a terrible team composition. All right, let's start with the snipers. First of all, we don't need 2 snipers when the other team just needs 1 single tick. I would honestly say both of them would be bad, especially considering that we're on console and because we're on a medium gold level. Both scream to me bad picks. Now, maybe somebody in the comments can tell me otherwise when it comes to a console, but I would expect a Widow and a Hanzo to be extremely difficult to play. Not that they're easy to play on computer, but I would imagine that they're easier to play on PC. So both of those picks scream bad to me. Now, Genji I'm okay with. I'm okay with the Genji. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I'm okay with it. We had a Genji on attack, so I'm guessing he's a Genji main, which is fine. I like the Roadhog pick here for 2 reasons. 1, he's an overpowered guy that can get you picks. 2, he's a self-healer. For whatever reason, we're still running the Mercy solo heal. So he at least gives you a little bit of leeway on the solo healing. The Bastion is okay, but I don't love it either, but it's an okay pick. What I don't love about Bastion is we're not running anything around it. When you run a Bastion, you got to have a shield for it. So I'd be looking for a Rissa or a Reinhardt to keep the Bastion able to take an aggressive spot. We don't have anything like that. So the Bastion has to play like really far back and really passive to be effective here. And anybody that knows anything about Bastion should know that that's not an ideal Bastion. So, and then on top of that, we're still solo healing. Now, granted, Bastion can self-heal a little bit, but usually when he's a stationary target, the self-healing's not very effective. And if he has to start going into recon mode to self-heal and has to do dancing around, then I think everybody on this channel knows that that's not a very effective Bastion, and we're not getting what we should be getting out of Bastion. So if this is the team comp we end up sticking with, I imagine you guys are going to get rolled over, unless we get some amazing picks from the Hanzo and Widow, or if the other team really throws in their team composition. Okay, so Widow just went Reinhardt, so everything I can say we can just throw out immediately. So I like the Reinhardt pick. The Reinhardt's going to help the Bastion out a lot. I'd still be looking for the Hanzo to change, because right now we have nothing for hit scan other than Bastion, and Bastion's not ideal for hit scan. He's not the worst hit scan. well, I don't know. Maybe he is. In my opinion, he's not ideal hit scan, but he can make it work. But I don't see Reinhardt. Oh, now we have a Torbjorn. Oh, everything I said can just go right out the window. All right. I want to talk Torb for just a second here. This is a bad turret spot for many reasons. But what I would encourage is if you go out that gate, this gate here, if you go through that gate, and there's a building right here, there's a little fenced area that overlooks right through here. And if you build a starter turret, it's half covered, and you can build some Torb alt off of that. That's where the Torbjorn should be setting up. A turret right here is bad for a couple reasons. One, it's very easy to be picked off. And two, it has no cover over here. I'll save better Torb positioning for a Torb gameplay. We had one on a different map. Maybe we'll get a Torb game on this map. I play Torb a lot on a Smurf account. Maybe I can do one off of that on this map. But just to go off of what we have now, I don't like the turret positioning, and I don't really like where the Bastion is either. I would be looking for the Bastion to set up down here or up here somewhere. And I'm not really sure where the Reinhardt is. The Reinhardt should be glued to one of these two turrets, if not both of them. The only thing that I like about where you guys have both of these turrets positioned is a Reinhardt shield could potentially cover both turrets if we still have one, and I don't know where he is. I would like to see the Roadhog up on the top patio, the higher patio. Maybe I really hope the Reinhardt didn't switch to Torb, and that's exactly what it looks like here. Yeah, that's what. Wow, that's a really bad pick. Reinhardt should have stayed Reinhardt. I don't see you guys standing a chance with this team composition.
Let me get you patched up.
And I should state, I'm watching this for the first time now, so I don't know exactly how this will play out. You kind of got off of the Bastion. He almost died. Luckily, he didn't.
Healing stream engaged.
Yep. Keep that power, that damage boost stream going until that Bastion really starts taking damage. You're doing the right thing as a Mercy, though. Pocketing the Bastion. That's exactly what you should be doing. And everybody, considering what this team composition is, for this to even stand a chance, they have to stay in range of your heal beam with you staying at the high ground. If they overextend to a point where you can't heal them from where you're standing, that's them overextending. You should stay on this Bastion at all costs, and maybe occasionally putting a damage boost on the Hanzo. That pistol, that was bad. Don't do that. You didn't even have a clear shot, and you had a lot of people around you that needed healing.
Let me get you patched up.
I'd really like to see the Hanzo taking the other high ground just to try to get a pick. Because the one thing you could do, and I know this kind of goes against what I said, but if you can fly, let me pause here for a second. If Hanzo goes up here with the Torb, that gives you a flying route back and forth between the two spots. And if the Bastion can play maybe back just a little bit over here, that might give him a little bit of cover so that he might be a little less risky. Might make you a little bit more effective and a little bit harder to kill. Because right now, what a good team should be doing is just diving you guys. They should just be diving this point right here. And if they do that, they take the point. If they just, Genji, Winston, Tracer, hell, there's really not much stopping them from going up here and just fighting you guys from a slightly higher vantage point. And if they do that properly, they could take you guys out with little resistance. I mean, all they need is a Reinhardt Junkrat soldier. And then if they put a Genji down here to harass you guys and just go kind of a, maybe even a Winston too, and then just throw in a healer to keep them alive, I'd probably say Anna. That would completely mess your guys' composition and setup up. Whereas if you keep some guys up here, that gives you a bit of an escape route. And then because you have res, you could keep both places operational. So part of the reason why this is working right now is a poor attack on the enemy team. I still hate what you guys are doing, but I will say this: you guys are making it work in consideration. And for that, I'll give you some kudos. However, you res that. Yep, okay, that's a good res there. You shouldn't pull your pistol out, though. I should have kept that heal going. I don't know if it would have ended up mattering in the long run, but it gives them a little bit more of a chance. Oh, okay, so you guys did almost take the point. I thought you guys only had a tick to go, so I stand corrected there. That gives you guys a lot more of a fighting chance to do this. Because they basically have to take the point to do this. You should dive on that armor pack. And this is a little bit of a my bad. I didn't really pay attention if Torb ever gave you armor, but if he didn't, that's really poor play on the Torb. I'm guessing they're going to take this point here because everything is dying. You might... Yeah, alright, so... Honestly, you should have tried to dive on point to just try to, I don't know, buy whatever time you could. I get that you probably would have just died immediately, and part of this should have been just part of communicating with your team, like, hey, is anybody able to contest with me, or should I just dive on point? Everybody could have confirmed with you, dive on point, just try to eat up whatever time you could. I get you probably would have died within seconds, but hey, a couple extra seconds might have gave the Hanzo a chance to get back. Maybe he gets a pick with his scatter arrow. Maybe he survives for a few other seconds, and maybe that gets the rest of the team back in time. Who knows? It's all hypothetical at that point. But it beats just sitting there watching you lose the game without doing literally anything. Would it have really made a difference in the long run? Probably not, but who knows? It's you know, it's very situational, but Hanzo's a nice wild card. Could have gotten a good scatter, and maybe he makes a nice delay afterward. So the big reason why you guys lost this was team composition. You shouldn't have solo healed. You didn't and when I say you, I'm talking about your 5 stack, not necessarily you specifically. You guys didn't really complement the Bastion very well. You as a player... playing Mercy complemented the Bastion as well as you could, but there's so much more that needs to be complemented with a Bastion. The other thing is Bastion never moved. Like when you guys kind of fought them off and there was a little bit of stagnation where you were just waiting for them to come back, it would have been nice to see you guys taking some different positions to kind of keep them guessing a little bit. And like I said earlier, I just rattled off a team composition off the top of my head that would have just completely taken you guys off of where and how you guys were playing. But really, the guy that picked Reinhardt and switched to Torb really screwed you guys over. And I think that was your wild card player where the 5 stack plus the extra. And this is why I really strongly suggest not 5 stacking. If you're going to go that high, get a 6, for the love of God, get a 6. So that way you don't get those random switches like that. And if it wasn't the random guy, then I think what I would encourage you to do is point your buddies to my channel so that we can teach them proper team compositions, because you guys lost this game because of poor team composition. That was the biggest reason why. Now, as in terms of your play as a Mercy, I thought it was okay. If you guys coordinated better, and because you're a 5-stack, coordination shouldn't be a problem, and I felt like it was. So as a Mercy, you should be getting guys spreading out just a little bit more so that you can do some flying between people to give you escape routes. You missed the one heal at the end of the attack round, or I'm sorry, not heal, the res at the end of the attack round. That might have gotten you guys the point. I didn't actually realize, I don't know, for whatever reason, I was too busy talking about other things. I didn't realize you guys were so close to taking the point. That actually makes me really want to drive home that res that much more. You guys could have had that point, and then after that, who knows what would have happened. Because we didn't even get to the second and third halves parts of, I should say thirds, not halves. The second, third part of the map, we didn't even get to see that, which is unfortunate. So don't be afraid to res. That's the biggest thing, I think, for you. And if you're doing a lot of 5- and 6-man groups, even 4-man groups, you guys as a whole need to work on your positioning so you as a Mercy can start flying around more. It's unfortunate we didn't get to maybe combo up with a Pharah to really get a maximum usage out of a Mercy, because a Mercy Pharah right now is so overpowered, and I bet that Pharah is really overpowered in the console games. Having hit scans, having to track a Pharah and a Mercy in the sky, I bet would be really difficult. So if you guys could get a Pharah working in your team compositions, this would have been a great map for it too, both on attack and defense, but more so on attack. But yeah, that's what I got for you. Really, just I'd say really work on your positioning and your flying and your resing, knowing when to res better. Those are my two big things I'd like to drive home for you as a Mercy player. And team compositions for your group as a whole. I don't know if these people are people you play with often or what the deal is, but that's got to be worked on heavily. So if you've got other friends that can stream games, have them submit games to me, and I can continue to work on your guys' team compositions. But that's what I got for you guys today. That's episode 9. I hope you guys learned something from this, and I'll see you guys for episode 10 in a couple days. Thanks for watching.